Hey there, welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If you've never found my channel until just now, yay, finally, you're here. I've been waiting for you. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thanks for coming back. My goal is to save you time and money by giving you the inside scoop on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. So today, the movie I'm reviewing is called Gaslit by My Husband, the Morgan Metzer story. This dramatic thriller is based on a true story and is now playing on Fandango at Home, Prime Video, the Lifetime channel, and Apple TV. It's rated PG-13 or TV 14. It's an hour and 30 minutes, and my overall movie review mom score is probably about a B minus. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell. I'll point out things I liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and we'll finish up with recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like. Okay, so let's dive in. In a nutshell, the story is about a woman who gets assaulted in her own home by a masked intruder. When her husband shows up only minutes later with a messy story that doesn't make sense, he becomes the prime suspect. The film was directed by Lee Gabiana. The screenwriter was Benjamin Anderson. Now, just in case you didn't know, gaslighting is when someone manipulates someone else using psychological methods that cause them to question their own sanity and powers of reasoning. And that's what we see happen in this movie. So, quick tips for parents. Kids are definitely going to be bored. There is some profanity, there are some crude comments. A baby dies, which is so heartbreaking. We see a woman get assaulted in her house with some blood, and a woman punches a man. We see a woman take a bunch of anti-anxiety pills. We see a man take steroids. We see a gun in the home. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well in the film are loss and grief, marriage, anxiety, therapy, secrets, rape in marriage, narcissism, domestic violence, and moving on. Now, here's a long list of things that I actually did really like about the film. First of all, Jana Kramer did a really great job and showed an impressive range of emotional depth. Jana's daughter in real life plays her daughter in the movie. I always think that that's great fun. Austin Nichols also does a really good job of getting us to hate his guts. He's the husband. The movie doesn't really give you all of the details at the beginning. And so you're trying to figure out what's going on at the same time as the wife in the story. And I like movies where there's a character that finally gets something just about the same time that you do. That's really good writing, I think, when you come to the same conclusion at the same time. As the story unfolds, you're not sure which one is the crazy one, the husband or the wife. And I think that that's done well. Now, there were just a few things I didn't like about the movie. First of all, a woman gives birth with perfect hair and makeup. Yeah, that was definitely not my experience. And that always takes away from the realism when I'm seeing something like that in a movie. It just seems like an actress who wants to be really pretty and the director who wants her to look pretty. But the reality is there is sweat and blood and tears, and it is not, a really beautiful sight in terms of winning Miss America pageant. It absolutely is a beautiful moment, though. I have four sons. Okay, back to the movie. The timeline bounces around a lot and can be confusing. And it's kind of weird that a woman is still going to therapy and throwing a birthday party with a bunch of friends for a baby who only lived one day 8 years ago, right? So I know everybody grieves differently. And I lost a baby too, but at some point you have to move forward emotionally. And now this woman did. She has twins, she has two kids, but she really is stuck in the past and she talks about this baby to the two kids, and they celebrate with balloons, a birthday cake, presents, but all of that, which to me just seems a little bit too much. And so that's when at the very beginning of the movie, you're like, is she a little cray cray? Is that what's happening here, or what's going on? The movie really could be called, quote, When Two Emotionally Unstable People Marry, end quote. Having an expensive handbag has never been my thing. In the movie, the wife spends a lot of money on one. It becomes this point of contention that kicks off this fight between the husband and the wife. Now, she is earning a lot of money, and she tells her friend, who actually is working for her, that she's never spent money on herself, which obviously is not true because she's always dressed nicely, has a beautiful home, and all of that. But anyway, I'm just saying. From the very beginning of the movie, we see the married couple struggle with the loss of a baby, and we never really get to see them have fun together and be in love in order to balance out how the marriage goes crazy, goes haywire, right? We kind of need to see the good before we can be so startled by the bad. If it always looks and feels bad, then we're kind of not surprised that things have gotten even worse. Do you know what I'm saying? It definitely feels like a Lifetime movie where the man is the monster. All right, so whenever I watch movies, I write down funny lines and interesting lines simply so I can share them with you, so you can get a taste for the dialogue and the script writing quality. Now, I did not write down any funny lines because this is a serious drama, but I wrote down quite a few interesting lines. So you can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I'll share some of them with you right now. So Morgan Metzer, who's played by Jana Kramer, is talking, and she says, it gets better, not a lot, but enough to go on. And she's talking to another man who experienced loss, and she's kind of trying to befriend him and encourage him. And so it's interesting that she says it doesn't get better. I think when you lose a baby, especially a child, yeah, you'll never forget, but you've got to be able to move on. You've got to find joy in your life again. Otherwise, what's the point of living, right? And then the husband says to his wife, because she's doing kind of a lot of crazy things, and he says, I grew up. I expect you to do the same. Stop acting like a crazy teenager. And that's when you're like, yeah, she is being kind of like a crazy teenager. But then on the other hand, you're thinking, that's a really mean thing to say to the woman you love. Like he could have been more encouraging and supportive. And so you're like, which one is the crazy one? And then I like this line too. Morgan Metzer says at one point, I can now walk with confidence, knowing that the pain you gave me has been turned into power. And I like that we all go through tough times in life, but if we can turn pain and sorrow and grief and PTSD or whatever it is that we're going through into power that enables us and empowers us to move forward, then we're on the right track. All right, while I was watching this movie, I instantly thought of 3 other movies that are sort of similar that I want to recommend. The first one is an old Julia Roberts movie called Sleeping with the Enemy. Have you ever seen that one? It's actually really good. I just watched it again recently and was reminded about just how beautiful Julia Roberts was. She looks so young in that movie, and she does a really good job. Another movie that came out just a few years ago is called Herself, and it's actually based on a true story. All right, and then another one that is also a really good example of gaslighting is called The Invisible Man. It's very thrilling and interesting, fantastic performances. And I did a movie review of that one as well. In fact, I'll cue that one up. So as soon as you finish watching this, you can watch that one and see if that's something that looks good to you. I really enjoyed that one. All right. Hopefully my reviews help you. And if they do, give them a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below. You know the drill. All of those things are free actions that you can take, and they spread magical YouTube fairy dust all over my channel. And by the way, there are links to those recommended movies down in the description below. They're Amazon affiliate links. So They don't cost you any more if you choose to rent or purchase one of the videos, but Amazon will throw some little pretty pennies my way to thank me for telling you about them. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.